Yes, Fred.
Yep, this was Fred Nolan towards the end of his life, talking to Rick on a picnic table. And I'm just saying my theme of the first two segments was data overload. Yup, Linda, sad they didn't get him to talk and share things earlier. But that's life. That's life. There's Jenny's persistence. Yup. You'll find out either way, good or bad. You know what I mean, Jenny?
Right. And Mark says Fred always knew the swamp was the center of the storm. And I do agree with Mark on that.
Yep, Fred was the swamp guy. But Fred and Dan, old-time treasure hunters, kept everything close to their chest right to the last minute. If I have to work hard for it, I'm just not going to hand it over to you. You're going to have to work just as hard as me to get that information. You know, Judy?
Right. It sure seemed that way. Too bad they couldn't have worked together.
Yep. And I'm just saying, it's like, not nowadays, everybody wants to be a partner. Everybody who's got one goal. It's more togetherness. But in the old timer days, you got to realize how strict they were is just unbelievable. And Karen says, I'm waiting for the rock talk. We're getting there, Karen. We're getting there. These guys are on the ball. Now, as we're talking about data overload, we know Fred Nolan plot maps and maps of the island Steve Guptill has. So we know Steve's got his maps, the survey maps. You know, Judy?
Yes, thank goodness.
Because we saw a little clip that the Oak Island tourist gave us that he said melting the old with the new. You know, like I showed you, the GPS data and the maps that I had to draw in pencil from the old way to the new way. So you know that information of maps from Fred Nolan and survey markers and benchmarks are being seen and being recognized by Steve in 2021. You know what I mean?
And wouldn't it blow Fred's mind to see what Steve is doing with them all today?
Oh.
So different.
Yep. So here's a little bit that I want to know is, of course, I see this. Are you guys ready? This is Fred Nolan's data. I hope this notebook is in the hands of Rick and Marty Lagina.
Wow.
This shows a detailed map of the Nolan's Cross in detail. The guy was a detail guy. Fred Nolan plotted everything he saw. And just look at the thickness of this notebook, Judy.
Yes. I'm sure I wouldn't understand a third of it.
But I'm saying, again, data overload, but data that we need to solve this puzzle. Chris the Starman Dona in the house. I think Fred died with many secrets. I'm thinking Tom knows more than he shares with the team. My 2 cents. Chris, I'm with you 1,000%.
Yeah.
Sometimes family secrets, you go to the grave with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's sad because maybe if he gave us some of that info, we'd be a little farther along.
Yep. But that's how you get the feel of somebody, by their actions and what they do. You know, Judy, you don't know if somebody is good or bad until you're with them. And when they make that mistake, or if they turn on you, you only have to have a result from their actions. You can't do anything if they're doing everything perfect. You know what I mean?
Right. I gotcha.
You know, you can't make a move unless they make the first move. I don't know about Dave Blankenship. I think he's pretty much out there. He lets it all go. He's not like a Tom Nolan. But
I agree.
I mean, we only get this. Obviously, I don't know these people. I sort of know the guys that come on the show here. But as far as David and Tom Nolan, you just get the sense of their personality, from the TV show. I can't really judge them from a TV show, but sometimes you still get a good feeling on a little bit he says and what he does, what kind of people they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, Chris, right on this notebook is the position of the stones. See this notebook I got up? Now, I don't know if the stones were moved, that he was looking underneath the stones. I don't know the original plot of the original stones before he was looking underneath them. But this notebook sure shows the cross right there. And Chris says, I think Dave gave it all to the team. Yeah, he gave it all. But as far as looking for the original positions of the cones of the cross, it has to be in this notebook. You see that, Judy?
Yes. And I think it probably is.
And then he moved them. I mean, if I'm a surveyor, I don't move things around first. I plot them as I see them. How did the stones get there? I have no idea. And the exact measurements, that's all on the surveyor's end. Plot it up. And then you either look underneath or drill around them to find whatever you have to find. But that's my own personal opinion. So when I saw this notebook, I'm going, well, does he have that little satchel full of notes? Is this the time that Fred Nolan gave him that information? Yeah, we don't know that, Mark. I know I got a picture of Fred Nolan drilling around a couple of stones. But as far as picking them up and moving them, not sure on that. Chris said Fred did move all of them except cone C on his beach. But you're saying move them, Chris. He replaced them back in the same original spot after he looked underneath them, I hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So I was just wondering on this information with Fred Nolan and the big thick notebook, if those were the original distances of his work.
Well, Steve will find out. I think he will.
Yep. So that was my little data dump with Fred Nolan and the data that you saw at Zena's office. And then Chris says this. I can't remember the book, but there is a first-hand account of cone A being 15 to 20 feet away from its original position. Well, we're going to have to look up that stuff. That's what we want to look up. Thank you, Chris. All righty.